All right, everybody, welcome. We are on the latest closed beta. Just came out last couple of days, and we are going to make a new run. There's some minor changes, and well, I just wanted to start a new run. We are going to go with the easier difficulty level, and the reason behind doing the easier difficulty is that we are going to be trying to push for the end of the tracks all in one go. One of the or a couple of the advantages with the easy difficulty level. One, hunger seems like it decreases at a much slower rate on the easier difficulty level. Two, gathering materials later on for building out the train will be a lot easier too. So, all right, let's get through this prologue real quick. And of course, I'm like halfway through the train before it gives me the pop up for how to open doors. And let's get those repaired. Might as well put things to throttle 3, make things a little bit faster, getting up to the drones so we can take those down and get on to the actual game. It's a pity we can't jump out and collect all those drones. All right, here comes the drop ships with the heavy drones. They're going to be mixed in with our scouting drones. So, in the prologue, you cannot take down the heavy drones with this cannon. All we can take down is the scouting drones. But once in game, yes, you can take down a heavy drone with this cannon. But it takes quite a few shots. So that's one of the changes is the fact that they added the images like this right here on the journal logs. Tell you what, there are a couple things over here that we can pick up. We might as well. I'll show you guys that. I don't think I showed you guys that on the last one. So let's run over there. It's actually easier to do this right off the bat, in that it allows you to not have to worry about storms because you don't get storms come in until after you leave the first station. So um, running out here to get the couple items that are over here. Now's the time to do it if you're going to do it. Not that way you don't have to worry about storms. Now you can easily still get out here and back to the train in between storms, but this is just a little bit easier. We will go ahead and pick up Shadow Breeze. Now, in the game, there are 3 plants that grow that you can harvest. The Shadow Breeze, you can make or you can turn into energy drinks. And then there's 2 other plants. I can't remember the name, nor even if I remembered them, would I be able to pronounce them. But the one that starts with an A, it is used for making canned food. And the one that starts with an H is used for making first aid kits. Now, the first aid kits, the use of each first aid kit heals 50% of your health. The energy drinks, they increase your hunger level by 30%, and the canned soup is 50% of your hunger. So, once you get to the point where you've harvested, all right, actually, let me take a step back. As far as the plants, the Shadow Breeze, that can only just be harvested off out of the map. There's nothing else you can do with it. Once you've harvested it, that's it. Nothing else you can do with it. Now, the plants that are used for making canned food and for first aid kits, you actually have to grow those from seeds, and then from what you've grown from seeds, then you can turn them into the canned food and first aid kits. All right. Like I said, this is one of those areas you can easily run to and back between storms, but it's actually easiest to do it before you even leave the first station. That way you can get those few items. So on this train, I am thinking about just making it so it's a single story train. Um, the whole thing's just going to be single story. So, in doing that, it is going to be. It's going to get crowded. We will be definitely looking forward to being unlocking the shelving units so we can have more things stacked up. On top of that, we will be pushing for um, adding more train cars. All right. So quite often, whenever I'm crafting consumables, I'll start the craft and run away from the crafters, continue looting the area before coming back to the crafters. That way, it saves me a little bit of time. So. there's something I want to check out here right quick. Let's pull over. So one of the things I noticed before is that I would get a little message saying new journal entry, and I opened the journal, and there was no new entry. So, and right up here is where I'd used to get one of those. All right, so it did not do that to me. Okay. I'll show you later when we get to another spot that it used to do it to me. Yeah, not much up here, but every blueprint that we can get a hold of is needed. Every blueprint, every power core, weapon chips are handy. At a minimum, you want 3 weapon chips. When you get into a longer train, you'll want more weapons. But the 3 weapon chips that you're going to need is going to be for both rapid burst and the icicle cannons, and then also for the extraction beam. The extraction beam is actually required to make it past one of the stations because there's something blocking the tracks. So something to keep in mind. All right, but let's see. There is something up on the tower. I normally skip it, but we'll grab it right quick. I don't remember what it is though. If it's tech scrap or in this case it's just material. Okay. So early in the game, material is going to be you're going to be always constantly short on it. Once you get past about halfway through, you're going to be building up so much material that you're just not going to be in need of it. So, all right. Alright, now we officially have inventory full, which means no more sprinting. And that's another reason why I picked easy difficulty, just so that our hunger doesn't grow too fast early in the game. Once we get to the point where we're growing our food and everything, it's not an issue. But I figure I might as well just go ahead and build this now. And because it's going to be required, or it's going to recommend us building that at the next station. And before we overload ourselves again, let's empty out some of our inventory. Wasn't intending on eating, but that's alright. Or drinking one of our energy drinks. Once I build my walls and windows, there's going to be a stack right by the control panels. It's typically what I normally do. And that stack is going to have my consumables. So it's going to have the rechargeable batteries for the suit. It's going to have my first aid kits, my canned food, and my energy drinks. And there's, like I said, it's just going to be right about here where my cursor is, stacked up to the ceiling. And it just makes it so it's nice, convenient, easy, right there, handy. So, but alright, we are rolling into station number 2. Now these stations are numbered differently, but I'm just going off of from the start counting at 1 at the station we left just back there where we started the train. That's station 1. This I consider being station 2, and going from there. So, all right. While we are waiting out the storm, we are going to start enclosing the front train car. Figure might as well. Now, it's intended for you to use these guys on the corners. I don't. I just go straight flat, and it, while it might not seem like it's much more space that you get, um, what you do gain is um, say, all right, let me take a step back. Say you put your building shelves. With being a 90-degree corner here, you'd be able to put the end of the shelf all the way against the front. And that will actually, in if you have the 90 degrees both the front and rear, you get almost a full panel's worth extra space. So that's the reason why I do it. It just saves a little bit of hassle. And it looks like I need a little bit more smart material. All right, storm's passed, and we can start collecting materials from these outbuildings. Actually, I'll hold off on gathering base material. All right, sometimes it's easier to find stuff in the dark because when you get close enough to it, it automatically highlights like it was just there. But then I'll also like to turn the flashlight on just to make sure I didn't miss something. All right. All right. So between the travel time between the first and second, and then the second and third, um, you can run full out on throttle three the whole way um, between each of those stations. But, and in all honesty, on first playthrough, I definitely, or first start, I definitely recommend doing that between station 1 and 2 because of the storm. Station, or between station 2 and 3, I don't because there's more loot up here. And on occasion, um, I have skipped gathering material from up here and end up having something that I needed being up here. More specifically, the first weapon chip. So, um, the first pass between station 1 and or I'm sorry, between station 2 and station 3, I always run up here to see what's up here. All right, so nothing real important. Oh, we're overweight now, so no more sprinting. Now, as far as traveling on foot, I strongly recommend staying out of the deeper snow if you can. The deeper snow slows you down versus if you're running across rock like I am right here, or if you're running through this grass-like area. You're going to be a little bit faster than if you're running through the deeper snow. So, something to make things a little easier on you. Now, one of the things that can be a hassle whenever you get into the over encumbered state where you can't sprint, it also means you can't jump. And sometimes you can't make it up over up onto the tracks. All right, normally this door I would have centered, but until we unlock the half walls, I can't. I can't have it centered. So, all right. One thing with velocity, um, not really sure what velocity is as far as like the actual measurement. Um, but yeah, I'll leave it on. All right, so right here, if I was over encumbered, I would not be able to get back up onto the tracks. So that code is actually shared on an info pad that's on the other side of the tracks. I just tend to, well, I know the code, and I just go ahead and put it straight in, um, so I can get my train indoors. Because 3/4 of the time, when I'm hitting here, uh, a storm's about to hit. Either it's about to hit or it is hitting. So this just saves a little bit of time me just jumping straight in, putting the code in. So, all right, let's. I'll show you where that data pad is with the code. So it's in this building here, and right there. So 6718, as I mentioned. All right. There's not much in this building, but there's a few things. All right. Before we loot everything in here, all right. So we are over encumbered. No sprinting, no jumping, and this is too tall for us to get up on. Now we can go around the building, and there's a set of stairs on the side. Another thing you can do, one, you can drop a bunch of enough inventory out that you're no longer over encumbered. But quite often, if you make a nice little pile of stuff in front, you can make it up. Just basically you're making yourself a step. Now that only works on some areas. Um, Sometimes you just got too big of a step to make. So, all right. Um, Apparently, I need to grab some stuff out of my box. All right. So one of the things we had just picked up was an advanced capacitor that is going to expand our train's total battery level, which is something that is very, very handy when traveling between longer, or when you have longer distances between stations. All right, so we've got. Let's go ahead and. So we've got room for one more, and that one more will be for the weather screen once we build it. Now it's going to be a little bit before we have enough blueprints to unlock it, because quite honestly, we have more important things to unlock before we get to it. Once we pass the next station, we will definitely want to have the wall-mounted heater unlocked. But before that, we need to get that unlocked. All right. So, reason why I just emptied my inventory is because we've got another area when you go loot. So, it's just up here on the left. Now, off in the distance over here, let's see if we can see him again. Is when our first encounter with scout drones. With since we're starting to build our own train, and that's also why I went ahead and built our cannon. All right, so that crate is going to be needed here in a little bit. It's actually going to be required in order for us to be able to get out of this lake bed. Yeah, it's always helpful if I'm looking at the right screen all the time. And that is how you get back out. All right. So, on a side note, uh, the if you're in need of material, this is probably one of the best stations to collect material from because you have two scrappers that are constantly bringing material back. Now, if you're on a harder difficulty, uh, the, you're going to run into where um, those scrappers are destroyed. Now, on easy difficulty, they don't get destroyed. But if they do get destroyed, you can just leave the station and then come back to the station. So leave the station, go to the next station, and then come back, and they will respond. So, all right, let's see. Let's use a battery. Let's take a drink. And I am still out of material. So, so I'm overloaded. I'm just going to be grabbing material out of this side for the time being, because we got the steps to get back into the station. All right. First and foremost, let's build ourselves another chest here. So that's the order that or that's the layout that I do for my consumable chests. It's not the required method, it's just the way I do it. So, more than welcome to do it any which way you want. I will keep some materials on me, but I don't keep it. I don't keep a lot of stuff on me. Let's see, what's our timer for the storm? 4 minutes. Okay. All right, so our current train battery is 500 units of power, and we are fixing to go ahead and build ourselves our first power cell. Oh, we need to grab some tech scrap. Alright, there's our first one, and that brought us up to 1100. So each power cell gives us 600 more units of power. And the next thing is while we're in station, we are recharging at 200 units of power per minute. When we're out on the tracks, we are just charging at 50 units. We are just charging at 50 units. For some reason, my recording software decided to start playing at delay as far as the audio. Started to play delayed audio over my speakers. Oops. Oh well. But now I just lost my train of thought. Oh well. So, oh yeah. So when we're out on the tracks, you get a base charging of 50. Now, when you fire up the engine, all right. So we're dropping from the 200 down to 140. So you're draining. You have a 60 unit of power per minute draw just for having the engine on. So if you're out on the tracks and you're going to be stopped, you'll want to turn your engine off so that you're not just draining your train's battery. Now there's ways to offset that. First and foremost is with this reactor. This reactor, obviously, it requires refined fission fuel, and in order to refine the fuel, that's what this is for here. Now, before we get into that, whenever this is running, it is putting off radiation. So that is why I've got it back here at the end of the train, where we're going to be spending most of our time up here. So we're not going to be getting the damage from radiation. Now, as far as the fuel, it takes 2 raw fusion fuel, and then obviously 1 smart material. Now, this raw fusion fuel, it is dropped by drones. and it can also be harvested from. There's a few nodes across the map that you can harvest it from also, but the number one place you're going to get it is from drones. Now the reason that, or let me take a step back, that raw fusion fuel, it also puts off radiation that damages you. So, and of course you're going to be picking that fuel up. So you're going to be taking damage from it. Now, for storing the raw fusion fuel, you're going to want to have this chest unlocked right here. It's a very small amount of storage, but it will store the fusion fuel, and it will also store the fusion waste. Now, the waste. Actually, let me take a step back. So, whenever your reactor is running, one fuel gives you 2 minutes of runtime. But as you burn through the fuel, you'll end up having waste, fusion waste. That fusion waste, along with the raw fusion fuel, is radioactive. It will damage you. So you'll want to either deposit it in this chest, radioactive chest, or you're going to have to toss it. Otherwise, you're going to be taking constant damage, and you do not want to take that constant damage. Now, what you can use that raw or the waste for is you'll use this ammo fab here, and that is going to make your icicle ammo that is required for this cannon. This cannon is the best suited cannon for taking out the heavy drones. This cannon is not so great at it. So you'll want the ice cannon for the heavy drones when we get to them, but that's going to be a little wise before we get there. Alright, so we are currently just waiting out the storm. Most stations have this monitor here. Alright, so the storm is ending now. So if you jump out of your train, like I just did, when it's moving, it will automatically apply the brake and bring the train to a stop. Alright, so the reason why I went... ahead and built a just a regular storage chest here. Is even though it's not going to protect from radiation, it'll at least allow me to empty my inventory of any raw weight or raw fuel that I might pick up from these drones. So I like trying to drop these drones when they're above that rock line. So this guy right here. Now that guy's going to start coming this way. I'm going to try to draw him up as high as I can. Took a little bit of damage. Well, half of it fell. It's alright. Now these two, we'll let them get a little bit closer. So just having one piece of the raw fuel on us is not going to do very much damage. I mean, it will do damage to us, but it's not going to be much. There is a second piece. Now the damage is going to start picking up. So that is why I went ahead and built the refiner. That way we can produce the fuel that we will need, on top of being able to limit the radiation damage we take. So now this first journey from Station 3 to Station 4, I tend to only run on throttle position 1 to minimize our power requirements. We'll end up with throttle one is where you're the absolute most efficient. So now, as far as power management goes, I mentioned the reactor. That is the number one. Well, I guess it would be the number two um, power regeneration. Um, in all honesty, once we get further into the game and I get more resources, the only reason why I will end up using the power or the reactor is just so I can make more ammo. Um, Once I get a further developed and stronger train, um, we will be having we'll be getting power from a or from solar panels. So, all right. All right. So all of this can be mined with the extractor beam. We obviously don't have it yet, so we can't do anything with these for the time being. But later on, sorry, I had the mic pretty far away. Um, these train cars they can be mined with the extractor beam. We don't have one yet, extractor beam wise, so there's nothing we can do with them yet. But it is something that we will be able to utilize later on. So once we have one, we can come back and extract everything out of those. Um, Pretty well, all you're going to get is just base material. So at the point where we have the extractor beam, base material, we're not having an issue with gathering it. But I kind of like coming back, cleaning them up, just to make everything nice, neat, clean, and orderly. But that's just a personal preference. Alright, so we're following this cable, and the reason why we're following this cable is just so we can turn some power on. Now, also while we're back here, a few things to pick up. Now that the power's on, we can open that gate. Now, first and foremost, we do not have enough power to make it to the next station. On top of that, we have a storm coming in. The storm's going to hit before we get to the next station, and we are actually going to end up waiting out this next storm inside the tunnel. Going to help protect the train from the storm, and also keep us from freezing. So. Actually, if it wasn't for the storm that's about to hit, we might very well be able to make it. But I am not going to risk it. Actually, we would be able to make it if it wasn't for the storm coming in. So we're going to just wait here for the storm to come through. We're going to utilize the base 50 unit regen. Now we could go ahead and fire up a root. Actually, I think we will go ahead and fire up the reactor. And reason why I'm going to go ahead and fire it up is, well, one, we're going to end up needing to build ammo. So we've got a few few stations between here and there, but I figured might as well go ahead. So. Alright, so the storms last right at 5 minutes. And then you'll have 5 minutes of storms, and then 15 minutes of sun. So we're just going to sit around chilling, waiting for the storm to pass. Might as well go ahead and Now, whenever there's storms, that's when I tend to prefer to be in station. That's and like working on the train itself, doing stuff like that. Unfortunately, we're between stations now. If we had not stopped to loot all the drones, and if the door was already open here in the middle of this tunnel, um, we easily could have made it to to Station 4. But all right. About another minute or so. All right, so this area up ahead, it has 5 scavenger drones. These drones just go around. They won't attack you or anything like that. You can just ignore them, or you can set out some bait. And what I mean by bait is, say you drop a couple pieces of material, and then the drones will try to pick up that material and then fly off with it. But while they're stationed over the material that you dropped and using their own extractor beams on it to pick it up, you can easily shoot them down. So. All right, so went ahead, kicked it up to throttle position 2 because this incline that we're fixing to go up is fairly steep, and typically speaking, throttle 1 will not get you up it. So there are several sections of track that is going to be like that. So just be prepared for it. Now, once we get a second engine, that's not an issue. We're going to run out to this outbuilding first. And then we'll run to the other side of the tracks. Might be thinking, why did I come up here just for that one little piece? No, it's not actually just that one little piece. And I jumped too soon. And if I miss the jump again, well, let's just hope I don't. All right. So if you want to do this to figure out this code that it's talking about, you can. But the code is 4233. Now, on this floor, there's really not much stuff here. But like I said, it gives you the directions on figuring out a code. And that code is for a door that's on the floor below us. The main thing that come to this to do this, if you already know what the code is just to get that sticker. Those stickers are used for designs, for customizing the appearance of your train. So that code is for this door here. All right. We'll go ahead and bring our train into the station. All right. In this station, there is a bunch of stuff to pick up. All right. Now, a lot of these cabinets and whatnot that I'm opening, picking stuff up, the vast majority of them, you don't really know what you're going to get. They rotate what's going to drop. So nothing's guaranteed to be in the same location, with the exception of the very first engine core, the very first power core for reactor. Those two are pretty well set on where they're at. On a rare occasion, I think I've seen the power core being in a different location than it was. The first one, that is. But that is extremely rare. And I also might just be misremembering that too. So, all right. Of course, the storm's about to hit, and I am over encumbered. We've got one more outbuilding to clear. So that building right there, I'll tell you what, we'll just run it. We might get into a freezing state. All right. While we are waiting, we got 24 first and foremost. So unlock that. All right. So yeah, we'll go ahead and unlock that. But we still need a heating rod for a heater, and I don't think it's unlocked. So, got ourselves a nice little wait time here. Either that or, you know what? We didn't take much damage doing that. Alright, we're going to be making the run to the next station. Now, we do not have a heater core, so we can't build ourselves a heater. So we got to make sure we make it to the next station between this before the next storm. So we've got our generator or our reactor fueled up, and we are off to the races. Now with being on a little bit of a time crunch to make it to the next station, we are not going to be stopping to loot the drones. We're just going to have to let them go. Let the scrap go. So once we get up to the top of this hill, I will be kicking it down to level 2 throttle. Because we are going to be burning power with the cannon. That's good enough. Alright, now we still got a little bit more incline coming up, or that we're going up, but it's alright. And so those nodes right there, you can mine the raw fuel from. But as I mentioned before, it does require the extractor beam. Alright, so this is a pretty good little distance. So I figure I might as well do a little inventory management while we are rolling through. Well, we're definitely making ourselves some nice little progress to the next station. Um, all right, once we get to this station, there is an outbuilding. I think I went up to it in my last stream. It is up there. I don't think I'm going to be going up to it this time. Reason behind it is a bit of pain getting up there. There is some resources up there, but not a lot. So, I think we'll just stick with what we can gather from down here. We can go from there. Now, once we get in station, we are going to clear out these buildings down here. But and then we'll also finish up the roof on the second car. right. Let's see. All right, so we're fixing to build our first two solar panels to help offset our power usage with having the second engine. And looks like we need to grab some more of our tech scrap. let's just do this. Kicker is I need to get up next to that so I can reload it, or well, I guess load it. It's not reloading because it hasn't been loaded yet. So, um, fortunately, this one we can mount from inside, and oh crud! I thought I already had those had that unlocked. Well, we are just going to have to depend heavily on our reactor. And we should be able to make it to the dome without. We should be able to make it with the reactor, but. All right, so we're on throttle level 1, and we're doing the same speed as throttle level 3 with just one engine. So there are the scavenger drones through this area. There's 4 of them in this area that we could shoot down, but we're just going to make the run. We're running for the dome. So. All right, so this switching station, we have those stairs there to make it so we get up on here on this platform. With us being over encumbered, we got to be mindful of what we can and cannot do. Now we are going to continue on just straight to the dome. We'll do the second leg or the other leg on the way back. Alright, once we get one more blueprint, we will be able to build our solar panels. Each solar panel, I forget how much they charge, how much they'll provide charge, but alright, let's go ahead and hop in our cannon because we're fixing to run into some drones. Tell you what, I think we're just going to wait the storm out right here. And we will once the storm clears, we'll make the final push to the dome. You know what? We're fully charged. We might as well go. That right there is our next destination. But between here and there, see that drop pod there? We're going to have a few more drones. Now, there's also a possibility that we can get past these drones without them seeing us and aggroing to us, but chances of that are kind of slim. But there is a chance. Well, we might have just gotten lucky. right, so here's a build or a area that I did not go in the last episode or last time I made a run, and big thing is you want to make sure that you that your train didn't go in. So it's right there. Make sure the train doesn't go in to the dome, and the dome close the doors behind it. Because otherwise, if that happens, then you're stuck. Now I know of zero ways of opening that door. I don't think it is able to open or be opened. But just looking through there, it doesn't look like there's really anything there, anyways. So I mean, it just looks like a dead end hallway. That's what it looks like, anyways. So, all right, let's run back to the train. All right. Here in the dome, there is all kinds of material everywhere. We're going to be picking up blueprints. We'll be picking up, obviously, like material, first aid stuff. I'm trying to remember what else. Seeds, dirt for more planters. We'll get more fuel. pretty sure I mentioned it before. To open this door, flash your flashlight 3 times. Alright, so if I was to fall off the walkway, I would, because of how tall it is, I would have to empty inventory out enough to be able to jump back up. So if you're, whenever you're over encumbered, do not fall off. Alright, so this side of the tracks, there's just 3 buildings. Now, one of those buildings, you have 2 different doors that you can go in. That'd be the infirmary. Now, over on this side of the tracks, this is more the residential habitats. And I think there's 4 buildings, and most of the buildings you have a lower and upper level to enter. So Alright, so this is our last building that we need to clear. Yeah, at least in the dome. Well, we do have one more power core. We could build another. We could build ourselves another solar panel. Um, I think this is going to be our loadout for till we get to the next station. All right, so we are currently over encumbered. There are no stairs around this switching station. None that I remember, anyways. I don't know if we'd be able to get up there on the backside or not. Does not look like it. So, we're not going to risk it. All right, let's clear out this area right quick, and then we'll make the final push to the final station. And when I say final station, I mean as far as what's in the in this beta. Now they are talking about adding Chapter 3 in the next month or two, and really looking forward to that. Alright, so we absolutely have to clear that in order to be able to move forward. So once the storm clears, we will move on forward. And that would be the drop pods coming down. That one seemed to forget that I was supposed to be attacking me. And it looks like we got another drone that doesn't know that it's supposed to be attacking us, but it's aggro to us. It looks like it's in that guy right there, inside there somewhere. All right. Almost got this cleared. Now, I don't think they added any more stations or any further on the track than what was already there for this beta edition or version. But let's just double check. Yeah, I didn't think so. So the main things that was added in this version of the beta is going to be on the journal entries, the pictures. Also, they added a German translation, if memory serves me correctly. Let me pull up the notes on it, or patch notes on it. Let's see. All right, so German localization, so German language support, the journal fixes, then some bugs and tweaks. All right, so I'm going to make the run back to the very first station. That's where I will be doing all my work on the train, as far as building it out and extending it. One of the things that a couple other folks have run into is if they build the train too long, they try backing up as we are here, they run into an issue of the automatic doors on the bridge station not opening. A little bit I've been reading on that. They it looks like it is that the doors only recognize the first two train cars, and that's something that's going to be getting fixed. All right. Let's see. So yeah, they are talking about the next major update's going to be in the next month or two. It'll add the first area of Chapter 3 to the game. And more info will come soon. So, we got a storm coming in. All right. Well, this part's just boring. Reversing. So, you know what? Nah. Yeah, actually, yeah. Um, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end things here. We've been at this for a few hours now, but made it all the way to to the end of what's currently available, and this is just me backing up to build out the train for later. So I want to say thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, and I really hope to catch you guys next time. Take care. Have yourselves a wonderful day,